Right, I just want to do that again. I've got a left-handed one here, and then I want to talk about cleaning up things because I think that's an important thing. That last one was exceptionally clean. This is a left-handed club. I'm going to take it apart. Probably will need to use heat again. Oh no, how about that? Well, maybe it's a bit hard. I'm getting there, but this is a little bit tricky. Sometimes when you get it started, you find you have to put heat on again. But we're getting there. Okay, so this one is a bit messier. Yes. Look at that. That's a lot of mess on that. So let's put that aside. I'll tell you what we're going to do with that. Now, we'll undo it. A lot of debris and stuff in there. Doesn't really matter that bit because you're really not going to see it. Right, pull the spring out. Maybe we'll get lucky again. Ah, there you go. This is what I was talking about. Sometimes the bushing doesn't come out. Not very often, but this time it hasn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this little helical tool. We're going to put it in there, and it might take a few goes. Turn it in there, turn it, and then turn it back and pull it. Oh, it worked first time. Usually it doesn't. But now we have our little bushing there, which we can take off. Here it is. And we'll put it back with the rest of it so we're ready to go for the reassembly. So there you go. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to undo the nut. Oh, going the wrong way, tightening it. Oh no, I was going the right way. Okay. Coming undone. So this is a bit harder to progress than the last one. So I suspect this nut and hosel will need clean up, which is why I'm doing this, just to tell you what to do when you need to clean it up, because the other one was a little bit atypical. See, this is definitely a bit gummed up in there. Right. So now we're right. So now we have our nut there, and you can see there's quite a bit of Loctite showing there, the whitey stuff. So let's put that aside, and to take it apart, we don't really need to do that for this one. But no, we want to show the, let's see how the male spline is in terms of how the hosel is. Right. Because I think it must be a little bit gummed up because it was hard. Oh, yeah. Look at that. See? Oh, and down the side here. See, it's all pretty messy. There are four of these little locators for the left-handed one only. The right-handed one only had two. Now this definitely needs a clean-up. So what I would do here is I would remove the O-ring and put it in acetone for a while. So there's the number 14 O-ring, which is bigger than the other ones down here. So there's a 14 and there's a 13. Don't know if you can see it there, but there is a visible difference between those. Well, it shows on that background, doesn't it? 14, number 13. Now this needs a clean-up. Now you could do it mechanically, scratching away. You could run a die nut on it, an M6, standard M6 die nut, or you can use acetone in time. So what you can do is, here's some acetone, and I use these couple of little tapering beakers, which is quite good. And then you could sit that in there and just let it sit there, you know, for a few hours while you go and do something else. Get myself organised. Trying to keep it in the camera view. A bit hard to do, but obviously if I didn't have to worry about the camera, I'd be able to do this. There you go. Look at that. So I'd just go off and do something and let that soak a little bit. and then you can use a rag to clean it up. Now the other bits that need cleaning, like the nut that came out, you just drop that in there and let things be for a while, and then come back and attend to it and clean them up. So at that point it's a wiping the parts off, the acetone off, and giving you a little bit of a mechanical work. And if need be, if you still need to remove some of the residual, then you would use that. Now if I pull this out for a moment, I'll just show you what I mean about scratching away. This has only been in for a minute, so won't have done anything. But even so, if I now just give that a little hard wipe, I probably will have made some progress. Yep, I have. But on this side here, you can see that there's some of that. So basically we're almost free there. If I could scratch that off that little bit there. I often use a little steel rule to do this. Nice little sharp edge, not going to hurt me though. You don't need to worry about this area here because the male spline doesn't get there at all. And then on this side here, you can see we've got quite a bit. Now, if I did let this soak for a few hours, this would be easy, but I'm not going to bother with that now. I just want to show you what I'm doing. So, beginning to move it. I mean, if you used a craft knife here, it wouldn't do any harm, but you might cut yourself. So that's why I like using this, because I'm not really going to hurt myself. We're getting there. As I say, we don't really need to worry about up there. Right, so that's pretty good there. And round here, it's a little bit more. When you put this together, you actually want the male spline to be able to seat properly onto this hosel part. So you really don't want any remnants sitting there to be as a barrier. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now let's just see if the thread's any good. I'll just find a nut. That's we'll just see if the nut can progress. Obviously there's some work to do here on the thread of this. Clearly not going to work there. Remember, it has to be free running. And this is, I think this is quite a long way away from that. So I would let this soak for a while and then carry on. I mean, effectively what I'm doing is I'm slightly cutting the thread through the remnants of the, and I am progressing it, but it's hardly free running. But I do want it free running, so I'd either just carry on doing this a lot of times or probably just soak everything for a while and then come back and do it, and it would be much better. But anyway, I'm just showing you the process that you really need this free running because you want to torque up on the thread, not on something that's binding in there, which is the remnants of what was in there before. So this is fairly free running, but not, I'm using leverage here. When we're talking about free running, we're talking about just doing this and it's easy to operate. It's clearly getting close to it just by going back and forth. I'm spreading out what debris is in there, I suppose. Okay, that's about it. So I find the two little beakers very handy because that way you can not waste the acetone evaporating around, and it does a little bit of a seal, and then they can sit there and you get on and do something else and then come back. And so what I think I'll do now is, having made some progress, I think I might just put this back in the acetone and come back to it later. But you've got the general idea. You can see there it's still there, but it'll be much thinner now because it'll be spread out. And that's about it. Good.